Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gemini Soul Family, this is your April 2020 reading. If you're a Gemini Sun, Rising or Moon, it is a general, but it might resonate for you. If you would like to connect with me outside of YouTube, I'm also on my website, romywyser.com, Instagram and Facebook, and I also have a membership group over on Patreon. Really looking forward to seeing what Aries season has in store for you, Gemini. So let's go ahead, get started. Okay, Gemini, into Aries season in April, and it's your 11th house with a real focus on community, technology, the way that you interact with groups. And we have Venus moving into your sign on the 3rd of April. So for me, this is putting you in a beautiful position to be the one that really comes up with some beautiful new ideas in the ways in which you can connect out to the community, to groups, using technology, working online, helping to keep things light, helping to lift the mood, being more playful, allowing the very best of that beautiful mercurial energy of yours to step forward and to be of service to people in a way that could be quite radical, quite innovative and quite different as we draw in some of that Aquarian ruled 11th house for you through Aries season. We open up your reading with the Knight of Swords rather, and I like this because for me it is about you just feeling energized and ready and just tackling things head on. You know, there are times when the Knight of Swords can come through and be quite abrupt and quite aggressive, but there are also times that we need his energy. We need to tap into it to be able to pull ourselves up and not to sink into any kind of lower based energy. So for me, this has you moving into the beginning of April, just feeling focused and driven and just determined to keep going, to keep moving, to keep active in your mind, in your body, in the things that are important in your life. This is not a time to stop and be complacent. And yes, you may have to make adjustments in terms of the way that you are approaching things. But overall, the strategy and the bigger vision, the dreams, the ideas that you have in place can be maintained. Now on the 4th we have a conjunction between Jupiter and Pluto taking place. It's the first of 3 happening in 2020. The next one is on June 30th and then November 12th. This is going to be an intense and very power-driven moment. However, there's a lot of opportunity. There are implications karmically, so make sure you're staying on the right side of that and that you're coming at everything from a place of real integrity, stepping forward with your best self and looking to tap into the potential of everything that feels right for your highest good right now. There is a beautiful kind of opportunistic and almost lucky element to that conjunction if you focus to tune into that particular element of it, and with that does come a celebration. For me, it feels like it's the way that you will connect into perhaps new people, new souls that are going to become aware of you or step forward, the way that you're going to start to connect in terms of friendship, in terms of things that can support you and help you with current business or projects or things that you're working on. Of course, huge adjustments in terms of the way that you might do that, but in the adaptation, in the process of just thinking outside the box, outside the lines, what you're coming up against is the opportunity to mix and connect with people that you may not have ever had the opportunity to do so before. And with that comes celebration and a sense of solidarity. So I think many of you are actually going to start to come into a place where you are really identifying soul family, people that really matter to you, connecting in with people who are resonating with you on a different type of level, and that's going to feel positive. On the 7th, we've got a full moon in the sign of Libra, activating 5th house for you, Gemini. So a focus around creativity, which I think is going to be so important. I think this time where you may end up having much more space and freedom with which to explore things that perhaps have been on the to-do list for some time, is giving you that sacred kind of moment to really pause and reflect, where do I want to direct myself at this time? And you know, Queen of Wands coming through with that beautiful Aries fire, right? So we're tapping into Aries season for this, and helping you to feel more enthusiastic about the things that can support you through this particular cycle of time, that can make you feel good about yourself, that can tap into new skills, new gifts that you might have to share. You may well have a fire sign who is particularly important, or is certainly going to step up and show themselves in a really positive way through this month of April for you, Gemini. And I think that you will absolutely appreciate their support and the solidarity of them standing beside you. It is important because I think if you know, it's almost that sense of, if you know someone has your back, you can get on and really create some moments of brilliance, some miracles this month. You can really come up with some fantastic ideas and solutions and be given the space and the voice to be able to express those. And certainly I'm picking up that this fire sign, or who this person represents, is coming in on a very supportive influence for you. I think Aries season is a time when you feel that beautiful burst of renewal anyway. There's a natural high that you get in this time from a physical perspective, and a need to get going and get moving. In spite of any sanctions or restrictions placed in and around you, I feel like you are able to almost transcend some of that in the way that your mind works, to look beyond any walls, to see that the cage door is in fact not closed but wide open, and in that you can start to manifest, you can start to draw towards you the most beautiful levels of abundance in all of its forms. You know, the Empress comes in reminding you to sit in that sense of peace and gratitude and appreciation. You know, the vortex is wide open right now, and the more that you can stay on the higher vibrational energy of what is happening around you, the more able you will be to not only help yourself but also others as well. And again, just a nod to the amount of creative energy that I sense in and around you through this month of April. So just completely open up your mind, Gemini, to receive that divine wisdom as it starts to come through for you. A lot of female energy coming up in this reading, so I do think that you're going to have support, particularly around the females in your life through this month of April. And again, just make sure that you're getting the balance right of giving and receiving. Don't burn yourself out. But that 5th house under the full moon also puts a focus on children. It puts a focus on romance. So again, the way that you are moving through this particular dynamic, and looking at the ways in which you can fall in love with your life all over again, and perhaps aspects of it that have had some neglect or have not had the opportunity to breathe or be expressed in a certain way. The King of Swords coming in the centre of your reading, I feel I've kind of got two vibes coming through with this, Gemini, okay? The first I'm going to say is that he wants you to tap into his very strategic, focused, clear-minded outlook, okay? Don't let yourself get into that chaotic, frenzied, fear-based vibe that could be lingering quite powerfully in and around you at the moment. King of Swords really helps to cut through all of that and get to what's really important, to help you prioritize and keep very focused. I think that focus is what's going to help you from a mental, emotional and spiritual perspective all the way through this month of April, okay? Really important. I also feel that this King of Swords, particularly as we look around what that full moon is illuminating in the 5th house connected to romance and relationships, is that you may see a somewhat different side of somebody emerging through this month, and that could be at times a little difficult to navigate and to process. The thing we have to bear in mind is that, you know, we're all being invited to really go deep within and to kind of unearth and do an incredible spring clean to those aspects of self that perhaps we've been in avoidance for a long time, and now, given current circumstances, we're sort of forced to address many things in what can be particularly challenging environments for some. And so everyone's going to deal with that slightly differently, and I think that there is this nod to say that you may well experience someone in your life, Gemini, not necessarily a romantic partner, but perhaps somebody who's coming up and you feel that they're stonewalling you a little bit, or they're coming across quite cold, quite detached, or quite stubborn or difficult at this time. If that is the case, just you stay sat in that beautiful Empress energy of appreciation and gratitude. Focus on all of the things that are right in your world, of the things that are going still beautifully unfolding, that are moving forward, that you have the ability to control, to influence through a higher state of consciousness, through your own energetic integrity. Don't get sucked into anybody that decides to play that emotionally manipulative kind of game, you know, and it's only really coming from a place of fear anyway. And the thing is that Chariot energy coming through is reminding you that even if there are moments through April where you feel very out of control, or that you're not able to keep hold of things, you feel like even that there's some losses coming up around you, that ultimately we are moving forward, we're driving forward towards something that's even more beautiful than really perhaps you can quite visualize right now. Although in all honesty, Gemini, I think you absolutely have the capacity, if you take the time to meditate and to go inwards and to be still, what you will find is that you can in fact transcend, you can project yourself to that future moment that shows you just how beautiful some of the unfolding of the opportunities that are going to be on the other side of this. And I think that's really important. Now, between the Knight of Swords and the Chariot, there is a lot of movement. There's a lot of forward movement here. So even if you feel that sense of stillness where you're not able to, have the same levels of kind of forward momentum that you were hoping for, rest assured, I'm still seeing that coming up in the reading. So, okay, your Empress, King of Swords, Queen of Wands are all sat, upon their respective thrones, not really doing too much at the moment, but they are working the energy. They're working that energy to help support that Knight of Swords and Chariot to drive you forward at exactly the right time. And here's the thing, your spiritual evolution is absolutely on fire through this month of April, is what I want to say, Gemini. Powerful sense of transformation taking place within. And if you can focus on how you can illuminate that aspect of your life, how you can take what is happening around you and really start to see what it's showing you, what you have to learn about yourself and others, that's where you're going to get such a beautiful sense of understanding and wisdom, because High Priestess coming in is inviting you to continuously keep connecting back into higher self. I mean, very strong divine feminine energy coming through here with both the Empress and the High Priestess. What they are gifting you is this cosmic divine intelligence, the ability to know better, the ability to not be triggered by the small stuff, the pettiness, to let some of these fear and anxious energies wash over you and through you. Use that amazing mercurial mind to go and rise above and find the solutions that are needed right now for you and others. On the 11th, we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Aries, which is giving us this ability to think quickly on our feet, to be very innovative, to be impulsive, but new ways again in the 11th house for you, Gemini, to be able to connect out to the community, how to draw people together, how to be that linchpin that really helps to create a space for people to come together, like a think tank, a hub, if you like. I see you being very instrumental in those kind of scenarios and situations, whether it's just from a support kind of basis, or whether it's about trying to get new initiatives going, or helping people in and around business, or indeed how you can expand and moving your own business in a slightly different direction for this particular period of time. But High Priestess is also reminding you that it is important that you take time for that stillness. Don't be go, go, go all the way through this month. It's also going to end up kind of scrambling the airwaves a little bit. And it's really important that you stay on what I want to say is like a dedicated channel, your dedicated channel between the you and your higher self, you and your guides, you and source energy, because that's where you're going to get your truth. If you chop and change into too many different frequencies, you're likely to get a little bit frazzled and a bit confused and find it somewhat harder to ground your energy. So High Priestess is just coming in with that gentle reminder that there are, yes, times to be very creative and expressive and out there trying to help others, but also don't skip that time to just be reflective and absorb and stand back and just really take a pause before you act on some of the things that you feel you want to do. And that pause is going to be really important, because I think it's going to help you come at it from the right perspective. It's going to make sure that you're coming in on a higher vibration, and that you're not adding to the problem, but rather you are redirecting energy toward a higher and better solution. So don't be afraid to just take an extra little bit of time where it's being kind of divinely nudged through to you. I think that's going to be incredibly important. But Spirit very strongly around you, and I think you'll continue to see very strong signs, signposts to help you know which direction you're meant to be heading in through this month of April. I want to say that many plans, ideas and thoughts that you have have not been in vain, are not in vain. But with Four of Swords, again, this time for retreat is going to be necessary through part of April. And High Priestess and Four of Swords are saying that you will find solace through that quiet time, You will find it in nature, you will find it in just those moments where you can shut out the outside noise, the white noise. You may well be dealing with other people or yourself, feel that kind of physical lowness and energy, and just be aware that divine healing is very much coming in and around you just now. You're very protected, very supported at this moment. Again, when I want to link into that King of Swords energy, there may be some retreat or kind of step back from a particular energy in your environment at the moment. And understand that there's something positive that will come from that for you as well, even if it feels a little bit challenging. You will learn something more about yourself, that connection will change, will transform, will either go to a higher level or show you something that is important in terms of what you need to learn on your own soul journey. So try to trust in the way that things are happening right now. Nine of Wands gives you that element of perseverance. It's going to give you the endurance that you need to be able to move through this month without it dampening your spirits. I do have a very spirited reading, in all honesty, for you this month, Gemini. So don't be mistrustful of yourself in terms of the direction that you're moving or where you feel drawn to invest your energy and time, okay? For me, the Nine of Wands is reminding you about all of the accomplishments you've already made. It's not like this possibility, a new pathway that is emerging is taking away from anything that's already been done, but I do feel there perhaps is going to be some interesting new thoughts and opportunities that were meant to come in, and maybe that'll require you relook at the strategy somewhat, and you might take some time to step back and reevaluate, but that will only serve you well. Nine of Wands for me was absolutely just more than anything giving you that sense of perseverance. They do represent that wounded warrior, so even in the most toughest of climates, you're still going to prevail, you're still going to keep going, and that Chariot energy is reminding you about the drive forward and the ability to take control back, and know that you're going to have a victorious and successful outcome in spite of any challenges that are being presented in front of you. When we move into Taurus season, we are going into your 12th house. So in many ways, High Priestess and Four of Swords, I think, are a bit of a nod to that time as well, because this time of the year for you is very much about healing, release, allowing yourself to step back and to just process what this last cycle has been about before we begin your new astrological solar returns when we move into Gemini season. So with that Sun in Taurus, it's a very creative time for you, and I think you might feel the need to just really give yourself some time and space to focus on that, and I think a lot of solace will come for you in that way. Your oracle card is the Isle of Wonders, revelation, teaching, discovery. What a beautiful image, first and foremost. I mean, all of these waterfalls cascading down for me, just not only talking about the beautiful healing energy that's coming through, absolutely a nod to the emotional energies that are going to be very It's like that undercurrent that will be very present all the way through April. And I think you're going to surprise yourself in how well you'll be able to adapt to it, Gemini. So even if there's a slight anxiousness and an overwhelm and, you know, even perhaps a tearful energy that kind of seems to be ever present all the way through the month, it doesn't shut you down. In some ways it allows you to access and tap into more creative potential, deeper emotional energies and strength in a way that you might not have fully appreciated up to this point. These beautiful birds were like almost, you know, denoting a sign of peace for me, and this is a real sort of paradise landscape, and I think it's meant to deliver that to you. It's meant to give you some peace and some solace here. But this revelation, this idea of teaching and discovery, it's about the discovery that you're going to make about yourself and then how you use that information to be of service and to help others. And I think that you're really going to find out so much about your own journey through this month of April that is going to be vital to what happens next as we move through the rest of 2020 and perhaps help you to see the true value that you can bring in so many different situations, and perhaps even believe in yourself a little bit more than you have done up to now. You know, with regards to those of you focused in and around relationships, again, this is a tremendous time of teaching, you know, a moment where we can transcend so many wound-to-wound connections and help them evolve to something much deeper, much more spiritual, much more open and healthy, from a love-to-love connection. And I think that you'll be given the opportunity to work on that through this time, even if it's not necessarily coming forward in a way that you would like. It will have so much to reveal to you. So your astrological card is Eclipse in Scorpio, stand firm in the eye of the storm. And I think that that's probably a beautiful kind of nod to this card, because here's your sanctuary, you know. So how do you find that sanctuary? Is it a sacred space in your mind, somewhere that you go through meditation? Is it somewhere that you create in your home environment or in nature? So that while things are moving and going at speed around you and feeling quite chaotic and frenzied, you can still tap into that quiet stillness, remembering, of course, that Scorpio is a sign of powerful transformational energy. And remember that Jupiter-Pluto conjunction on the 4th is taking place in your 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. So you know that we're still dealing with this kind of death and rebirth and metamorphosis energy, Gemini, you know, and it isn't easy. These energies are not easy to work with, but they absolutely indicate a time of something really incredible shifting and happening on your own soul journey. So embrace them, and the easier that you can surrender into what is taking place, knowing that something really incredible will be at the other side of this for you, the easier you're going to find this cycle to work with. Remember, eclipses are about truths coming to the surface, and Scorpio is also about those hidden secrets. So with High Priestess, I think many of you are set to receive information that comes through powerfully, whether it be in the collective or on an individual level, you know, just from your own awakening, or perhaps with key relationships, things that you need to know are set to emerge through this month of April. And I think that's really going to help you as well understand where you stand and where you're going to prioritize your energy moving forward after this, okay? So I hope that's given you some insight into this month of April, Gemini. If you'd like to join me, I'm going to go ahead and do an extended reading, which will be another 20 minutes or so. We're going to pull some clarifying cards for that. Firstly, I'd like to ask you to think about a question that perhaps hasn't come through in the first part of the reading, and we will specifically cover that in the extended. So I will pull a couple of cards for your question if you just think about what that is right now. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and pull some clarifiers for what we have put down in this 9-card spread, beginning with that Knight of Swords energy, coming through with the 7 of Pentacles, I like that earth energy coming up for you actually. Another Queen of Wands coming through here. Yeah, I really think this Queen of Wands energy is going to be incredibly supportive for you this month of April. So whether this represents a person specifically or just an energy you're going to tap into, Gemini. We've got the Fool card here. New beginnings and curiosity, adventure, being open-minded about how you can connect, new people coming in. Offers of work even, Page of Pentacles, you know, there's this aspect of learning coming through for many of you as well. Star energy, Queen of Wands. Yeah, I really have a beautiful feeling about who this person is that's going to show up around you this month. Okay, Empress is bringing us 8 of Wands. You see all this warrior of love energy coming through this month in April. Ace of Wands, a brand new beginning, raw energy with which you can create. So don't feel that in any way you're going to be held back in April, Gemini. I think quite the opposite. You're being given a free rein. Okay, 5 of Cups is with this King of Swords. Like I said, there's some kind of challenge around whoever this represents for you, and maybe a feeling of loss or disappointment in the way that they're choosing to handle something, but just keep on the high vibration. Okay, 10 of Swords. You may well experience an ending or some sort of transformation that has to take place connected to this. 4 of Wands with the Chariot. So a time of more harmony, balance and stability is on its way through. We'll take a little bit more. Knight of Pentacles. Have a look into that. King of Pentacles coming through with the High Priestess. Perhaps an earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus that you are involved with. We've got another Empress energy coming in here. Strong mother energy coming through with this reading as well, I think, for some of you. So we'll focus around that. 6 of Wands. Nine of Wands is bringing in the Hanged Man. Strength and Judgment all wants to come through. Okay, important messages there coming in at the root of your reading. And then just finally a couple more here. We've got the Devil for the Isle of Wonders. How do you escape any of that mental anxiety? We are being given that place of solace for you. And Eclipse and Scorpio bringing through the Sun. There is positivity to come from what is unfolding for you. Okay, Gemini, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you'd like to join me for the extended, there is a link in the description box below, or you can head over to my website, romywyser.com, and you'll find the link for the Gemini reading. Thank you so much. I send you bright blessings for April. Stay safe and keep connected into your truth and your higher self this month. Lots of love.